I think let's just get started.
Sure.
It's impromptu. We're here to answer any of y'all's questions today. So please ask us. Ramadan officially starts tomorrow. So we're really excited and we just wanted to be here to help you guys. So that way your mental clarity is ready to go for Ramadan as well.
Okay, sounds good. Let me just get the um the questions that I got in my inbox. Um,
Perfect.
okay, so the first question is how to stay hydrated in Ramadan. I think that's the biggest one, the one that a lot of people struggle with as far as like the physical discomfort that a lot of people have is like the dry mouth. Like a lot of people are working and talking all day long, and so what do you recommend for hydration?
Yes, of course. So I recommend high grade salt with lemon. So you go really natural and you create your own electrolytes at home. But for some people, everything is like on the go. And if that's the case for anyone who stays busy, get no sugar added electrolytes.
Hmm.
That's an option, or coconut water. I really love coconut water personally, but some people can't stand the taste. So you have to see what you enjoy at the same time. So that way you stay more consistent throughout the month.
Yeah, and like when I'm like in a pinch where like I don't have any electrolytes or I want to scale back from, a lot of processed things, I'll go ahead and like a squeeze of lemon and lime, a couple, like a shake or two of salt.
Yeah.
That's it. And you can't really taste the salt too, but you still get the benefits. And when you add like salts, electrolytes into your drink, it helps your body retain it for much longer. I don't know
Yes.
if you haven't tried this, you will see a difference. Like I would drink like 4 or 5 cups in the morning, like of water, and then I would pee it all out in like 3 hours maybe, and
Yeah.
then when I do drink with electrolytes, and I'm not talking about like 4 or 5 cups of servings of electrolytes. I'm talking about like one serving of electrolytes in that 4 to 5 ounce cup bottle, like 40-ounce bottle,
Yeah.
and it's more than enough to keep you hydrated and help you retain that water. I know this is, I think her Zalibai, like the other like a fitness influencer, she also
Yes.
recommended, which I did like too, was putting a tablespoon or two of chia seeds in your water, stirring it around,
Yes.
and then also adding like lemon or salt in there, and then the chia seeds also as it sits in your stomach, it
Yeah.
just keep that water in there as well. So,
Exactly. And then
and
the chia seeds also have protein in it. So it's a great source, of energy, something
yeah,
to fill you up. So it's great to have. All I suggest is with the water, don't have it with your meals because then we just get full, especially when you're fasting all day long. I feel like our stomach can only take so much. So it's nice to kind of break it apart. So have it like at the end of your suhoor, because sometimes what people do is we're chugging water through all of suhoor and you actually don't get the nutrients of your whole foods. So just, start drinking water really from now. I mean, we're less than, 24 hours away to start our suhoor. So I would start sipping your water and start doing the water retention with your electrolyte from now.
yeah, and that's a good point about like you don't want to drink it all at once. So I
Yeah.
I drink it all at once. I know it's not but recommended, but like I'll do my main bulk because I don't like to eat that heavy in the morning. Like I just can't stomach it. So I will have a lot of my hydration there. But when it's time to break the fast, like yes, have your meal. Get because we're already eating so little. You want to get optimize your nutrition,
Yeah.
and so yes, have your water, but drink like sip most of it throughout the night, like or later on
Yeah.
after you break your fast. Um, the next question, I guess we'll like stick with like eating and drinking right now, and then we'll move on to like other
Perfect.
questions. And then everyone who's joined, feel free to drop questions down in the chat as well. But let's see, the best, what foods to eat to not lose muscle mass.
Do you want
So
me to start?
yeah,
Okay, no problem. So what we'll do is Sahur and Iftar. At Sahur, I highly suggest you having your protein and carb, carb for the energy boost, and then of course your protein, and then you have your fiber. So you have a good example would be oatmeal, overnight oats, chia seed pudding, things along those lines. So that way you have good energy throughout the day. And then when it comes to your food at Iftar, I told all my clients just yesterday what's happening is in the past few years, I see is that we're taking foods that have protein but are very high in carbs as well, such as lentil soup or, chickpeas, anything along those lines. And we're eating it for our iftar before Maghrib Salah. And then we're overloading on that. So I told them reverse it. This year, start with your date, that's your fiber.
Mm-hmm.
Then have your protein, which a lot of them might just be getting protein shakes or any other source of protein that's high. And then you have a glass of water, go read your salah, and then come back for your dinner plate. And if you do that on a regular, even if you're going to parties, just have your protein shake with you, then you will start to see and feel the difference instantly.
And I just wanted to comment just because like you mentioned that food order. I like for people who have diabetes or high cholesterol and they're trying, we'll usually talk about um fiber and then your protein and then like your and then protein and fat and then your carbs at the very end. And so it is a little tweaked because you still like again we're likely not going to be hitting those protein targets compared to like a regular day, like when
Yeah.
we're not fasting outside of Ramadan. And I did want to also comment, like if you are working out, because we're talking about muscle mass and not, and so if you do feel like you are able to work out, then I'll have like why don't you like you can drop the weight, but like working out with some muscle, like using some weights will help you maintain at least or like
Yeah.
not lose as much. And so that's like from a muscle mass standpoint, like we do recommend you still can exercise if you feel well enough to, of course, if you're not feeling very well, like it's not, don't push yourself to do things that you don't like to do.
Yeah.
Um, and then speaking of working out, what about like the best time that you
Yeah.
recommend for workouts for your clients?
So, based on what you just said, Sana, I would highly suggest that when it comes to a lot of people are runners, try not to run during the fasting hours. And the reason is because you're lacking, of course, your carb intake, right? You're lacking your protein intake. And what happens is now your body is going into burning more of the muscle than
Mhm.
actual body fat. So in Ramadan, you don't want that. You want to make sure that you're burning body fat, so more so walking is what's going to benefit you when you're in fasting mode. Now, for people who are doing trainings and run trainings, then you want to get closer to the time that you're actually going to be breaking your fast so you can refuel. So a lot of times you do it right before iftar or you do it right before suhoor, and those are the best times. I tell people, yeah, of course, people are like, well, what about, after Tarawih? I think that's a great option, but I personally don't find it sustainable because then once the last 10 nights come, usually that gets thrown off. Or, you start to get even more lethargic, especially if you're working and the next morning you have to be up. You'd rather just get that workout in if you can
Yeah.
before iftar or before suhoor.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's like before you either like after you're waking up early, but you're after a restful, getting some
Yes.
rest, and then right before iftar, it's like it's tolerable because you are breaking it right after, so you're not like
Yes.
suffering with thirst and hunger or like being shaky and eating something right after.
Yeah.
So like I think that's good advice. And
Oh, and also with that, the daytime. So I know a lot of people like for us, we're doing 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. sessions, and 2 p.m. is a little random time, right? It's right smack in the middle of the day. You're still not right there at breaking it, your fast. So at that time, you really want to make sure it's a low impact workout. You're not trying to get a 45-minute session in. So I highly suggest for everyone to do, 20, 25 minutes, and you're good to go. Like Dr. Huck said, get those weights lower if you're doing those earlier workouts, 12, 1, 2 p.m. And the closer you get to iftar, then you can challenge yourself a little bit more, but make sure you have that good, way to break your fast to actually refuel your body to still maintain your muscle mass.
okay, yeah, that's let's see, what else do we have? Oh, this is somebody asked like what is like the wisdom behind breaking your fast with the
Okay.
water and dates. And then like you break it, you have a time period where like you pray like till 10 minutes, whatever, 5-10 minutes, and then you go back to eating your meal. Like because that I know like that's in like a lot of people do that. And so I know that aside from being like a perceived as cultural.
Yeah.
There is like benefit for your body. Like so, I had a lot of people ask me this last year, so I'm bringing it up this year. That after fasting for an extended period of time, and like granted, like the fasts now will be much shorter than when they were in the summer. But when you're not eating for a long period of time and you overload your body with food, you can have a lot of stomach cramps, maybe diarrhea, and it can be very uncomfortable and like can met with bloating. So it's nice to prime the stomach too, like and give it a little bit of a like an appetizer, like a truly like just like a few dates, water, and then the dates have so much sugar in it. It's like instant energy too for you to like be able to like make it through the prayer, which again is not very long, and then come back to your and have your meal, and then like Mona said about like having the protein, you
Yeah.
know, first, um and then like the carbs and like the less not important, but like the other stuff that yeah, I mean like your veggies and your nutrients and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you want to get the protein. The part I feel like the protein's the hardest to get in,
Yeah. That's
especially
why we set the protein shake this year because we were like, it's sometimes, like you said, very difficult. How are you going to get 100 grams of protein? But if you go for a protein such as, what is it, Truvani, 3 ingredients, no added sugars, something along those lines, something with no added sugars in your protein as well, you can always take it on the go. So if you're invited to dinner, you're going to the mosque earlier, whatever it is, that's something that you can hold, have your date, have a water bottle, and you break your fast the same way throughout Ramadan and then get to your meal. So again, you haven't had that carb yet, but what you've done is started that lining that you were mentioning, and that's great. Your digestive process will start working and you're going to feel the difference because that salah time starts to work your mind and stomach pretty much correlates then at that time because it takes a while for our
Mhm.
mind to tell our core. So then it's going to be like, oh, hey, we're not that hungry, or yes, we are. And then when you get to your plate, what happens then sometimes is we slowly just go straight to the carb because now we had our protein fiber. And I usually tell people that please go back again in that same concept so you're not getting any type of insulin spike. You're
Yes.
having your protein fiber, then go to your carbs. Enjoy your carb, but get to it by the end of the plate rather than reversing it.
Yeah, definitely. And also like we have to talk about like the quality of the food too. We
Yeah.
do want to have a lot of people gain weight in Ramadan
Yeah.
and don't feel good towards the end. And it's because of the diet that our traditional like Ramadan foods, you know, with the deep fried food, deep fried everything. And I know it's like very culturally significant. Like, you know, it's just like a not like a very like nostalgic like meal for a lot of people or like a comfort meal. And it only happens one time out of the year,
Yeah.
but you don't need to enjoy those foods every single day. And there are a lot of like if you can air fry or bake instead of deep fry or even pan fry, that's still better than, you know, having deep fried everything like vegetables like potatoes and do you guys do dahi bread too?
Yeah,
Um,
we do they but
Yeah, so like that's very, you know, deep fried. And I saw some recipes for like baking them and stuff,
yeah.
but I haven't tried those myself. But you know, instead I'll take the yogurt and I'll put it over lentils, and I still get that
So
same
smart.
flavor. Like, and so it's filling. I have my protein, I have my
Yeah.
fiber. I don't feel bloated. Now, a word if you're not used to eating lentils and beans and you start eating it now, like your body will react or be like, hey,
Yeah.
this I'm not used to digesting this. Like, why are you giving this to me now? And so, if you eat lentils and beans regularly in your diet, like that should not bother you. But just be careful. Like, if you don't you're not someone who has a lot of fiber
Yeah.
in your diet, you want to ease into that. You don't want to jump right in because that'll also cause an upset stomach for you too.
Yeah.
And your body does learn and adjust after doing that for a couple of weeks or if you ease into it. But if it's like a sudden change in your diet, now's not the time I would mess around with it. Completely change my diet, but make tweaks as you go. Um, and what about alternatives to ruafza?
Okay, so alternative to Rebza, I think, yeah, our favorite topic. I think last year we really had fun with this topic. Everyone was trying to find like ways to still incorporate Rebza, and I think the way we would do it is not have it personally, but if you are going to have it again, it's like what Dr. said. I think let's just spread it out. Like make it like a flex drink. Have it after Salah again. you really want to keep that consistent. Your fiber, your protein, your water before Salah, Maghrib Salah, and then have that if you're going to. I don't personally recommend it, but some people I know it's like just for fun. It's a family tradition. If you're going to try to make it in water instead of, something like dairy products, or if you want to change it up, maybe add some watermelon and less rubza. Just find a tweak to it. But again, if you can just take it out, then I think just find alternatives, infused waters, seltzers, topo chico, things along those lines. Change it up a little bit. So
Yeah.
that way you have something, and you can get really creative actually online. You have so many recipes now, and they're really good, like topo chico with ginger and then these berries. And you can really create your own homemade drinks that actually hit the spot and keep you hydrated way more than Rumza.
Okay, yeah, that sounds, and that's creative with the watermelon. And I just thought about that. And I was like, watermelon juice on its own is very satisfying. Like,
Yes.
if you add in like some mint and lemon, it's really a good
Yeah,
alternative.
that tastes really good.
Yeah.
I like that mix a lot.
Sometimes I'll take kombucha and blend it with frozen berries, and it tastes really good too. So I mean, it's not ruafza,
Mm,
but it is a like special
yeah,
drink, or like it does taste like it's like a special little treat that
yeah.
so like won't cause too much bloat or anything. It shouldn't cause any bloat, but it has its
Especially with people with PCOS, right? Like I feel like people with PCOS, diabetes, thyroid, all of these things, like you just want to make sure that that ruafza is not going to digest properly and it's just going to sit there.
and
So
your
same thing like your lentils.
yeah, and your body's already under a lot of stress, as is with fasting, and not just fasting from food, but also from water, and then the sleep is disturbed. So, like, what do we have? I guess control over is what I'll say. Like, what
Yeah.
can we alter? We can alter our food. Then
Yes.
that's an easy one, and that's a big one that will definitely make a difference with how we feel,
Yes.
energy levels, mood. So I do think that's the way to go is like, and again, if you can't drop things completely, tweak them in
Yeah.
small amounts that like they're not such a big shock to you, and then
Yeah.
work your way down to a healthier options. And there's so many different ways to make like healthier alternatives to the
Yeah.
food you're already eating. You don't have to drop something completely. It's just we make small changes to it so that
Yeah.
you can still enjoy your foods and get that kick you were hoping from with it, and still feel good.
I think
Um,
based on that too, the small changes that you mentioned, I think that's more important. Small changes become your habits for long-term success rather than just completely binging, excuse me, or taking away something completely. Sometimes it, like you said, if you've not been doing this, don't just go a full 360 because you yourself, it's going to take a little bit, especially if you're someone that always takes sugar in, you're going to have to slowly take it away because once you just take it away fully and completely, you might have mood swings. You might have like
yeah,
stomach
like
aches and
withdrawal, kind of
cravings.
all right, yeah. And then also when something is not very like it's like a big change to you, like it's different and it's not comfortable, and
Yeah.
it's very easy to be like I can't do this, and like you go back to like how you were. and
Yes.
and Ramadan is not just for this month; it is to make these changes and implement them throughout the year.
Yes.
So like making changes that are doable and then building on that after the month is over is also like a goal. We want to create like healthy lifestyle habits and not just a once a year type of a thing.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
agree.
that's with other things too, like with, we like being more productive. Okay, I'm not like people make goals of I'm not going to spend as much time on social media or watching TV or, and then they do boost their productivity because they're staying away from these things or they're limiting it.
Yeah.
The same way we do that in small increments to just like to carry over in the rest of our life too. So, or like outside of this month. Um, okay, so I think that was all our questions that I
Yeah.
had, the biggest ones. And then I had some like variations of like the same things that we had talked.
Okay.
Do you have anything on your end? I have one about like a sleep cycle. Someone mentioned, can you like
Okay.
explain like how you would structure your
Yeah.
sleep? I think that's a very individual question. It really depends on what you can tolerate,
Yes.
what type of job you have, like do you have little kids at home, like there's so many different factors where I can't really comment and say like this specific sleep cycle works for, what works for me might not work for you. So like,
Yes.
for example, I know a lot of people have their suhoor, they're able, like they start work at 9 o'clock, but they're not, they don't have to like pack their kids lunches, they don't have the other responsibilities that they're like able to do fudger and then go to sleep. um I don't have that luxury right now. So my kids are still young. And then aside from that, I can't um like sleep after fajr. I just cannot. Once I'm awake for the day. If
Yeah.
I need a nap later on, I will take one. If
Yes.
you do feel like you need a nap, if you're not getting like at least 7 hours, whether it's broken up or in one, like all in one go,
Yeah.
7 to 9 hours is the ideal sleep that we need. So ideally it would be all in one chunk, but with Ramadan it does get separated. But if you can, or if you know you're getting those 7, 8 hours and you still feel like you need to take a nap, I would limit your nap to like power naps. Like
Yes.
I wouldn't do a couple hours just because that can give you a hangover after, and you feel really groggy and like you're hungry or like get dehydrated and now you've slept too much. So I, do want to recommend like you need to figure out what works for you like according to
Yes.
your body, because everybody is different with what they can tolerate, what time of day they sleep better. And so that's my take on that. Like, do you have
Yeah.
anything to like add to that?
No, I think you hit it on the spot. Just make sure you get your power naps if you have the luxury to do so. If you don't, then know that, after Taraweeh, try to come home and sleep. If you're not going to Taraweeh at the masjid, then figure a good time to still sleep. Don't be up too late, especially in the first 2 weeks of Ramadan, because you already know the last 10 nights, naturally, we're all up extra hours of the night. So if you can just in the beginning, make your sleep schedule a little bit different so that way you can pull through the last 10 a little bit stronger. Again, it's just those small habits and small changes. Do small things that you can stay consistent with. So that way you enjoy your Ramadan and you have the mental focus for it. So that way it's not like you're getting there and you're just sleepy at the mosque and you don't really retain anything, be it from speeches, be it from physical movement, anything along those lines.
Yeah, and I think it's like just piggybacking on what I said earlier, like just
Yeah.
these are like the small, like we just focus on quality and not
Yeah.
quantity. So
Yes.
you can attend all the things, but if you're like sleeping through them or you're scrolling on your phone while you're in a lecture, like you're not getting much out of it, like you
Yeah.
might not sleep. So and I know a lot of people have FOMO, but you do need to take care of yourself. And like again, the
Yeah.
whole thing is like, what am I getting out of this month? And again, how can I come out of it a different person,
Yeah.
or maybe again, or someone who's working towards specific goals. And so just the try to, when you're doing anything, try to be present. And
Yes.
like there are people who are working, or they work a night shift, they can't go to Tarawih, like, but you, for example, like when I would work in the hospital, like during the night, and I was there like the whole month because I was doing the night flow. And you just think of it like you have to change your mindset too,
Yeah.
that whatever I'm doing is very intentional. Like I'm doing this to help people. Hopefully, this is my reward in Ramadan for that. Like by working throughout
Yeah.
this month, even though I can't do the nightly prayers. Or if you're a mom, you taking care of you can't get any like Quran in, for example. Like I remember I sit down to read like 2 pages, but I get 10 interruptions when we're a little younger, and like that's all I could do. And but your job also is, hey, you're taking care of your children, and
Yeah.
like that reward is a lot higher in this month, especially when you're fasting. And
Yes.
so, whatever you can do, just be intentional, and have like focus on the quality of whatever you can do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. And then I think I know we didn't touch base on this, but a lot of times nowadays the masjids have all the cool coffee shops coming, great businesses. I mean, great stuff, great service. I see it at all the masjids and it's great, but we still have to limit ourselves on that. You can't go and have 4 cups of coffee from Isha to Taraweeh. Like that, you're just hurting yourself. I tell people this all the time. Lattes are not coffee, they're milk sugar.
yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Now, that doesn't mean don't enjoy a latte, but you can tweak it. You can have, dairy-free milk. You can have almond milk, oat milk. Maybe if you can't even take in those type of milks and you're like, well, I have to have my coffee, maybe limit it to 1 cup,
Mm-hmm.
maybe lessen the sugar, get sugar-free something. So just kind of tweak it a little bit. Again, that small change goes a long way. And that's what I really want to let people know to focus on this Ramadan. Like when you're focusing on your ibadah, focus on the ibadah of taking care of the body you live in. And
Yeah.
if we can do that, your ibadah can go a long way too. There was a really cool video online, I actually just saw it today, and it's one of the trainers, and she's like, "Hey, I got, I'm really excited to go to the masjid. I had an air fried samosa." Then the other lady's like, "Well, I deep fried mine." And it just keeps going
Yeah.
back and forth. And it's true. Your choices can really affect the way you go to the masjid mentally and physically, and how you enjoy the ibadah that you do. So keep that in mind when you're eating or moving around.
Yeah, no, that's so true. Like, I think like the question I ask is like, is this worth it? Is how I'm going to feel later worth it?
Yeah.
Especially when like I know like the stomach can be a little bit more sensitive in Ramadan, where it might not be a good idea, and it will make fasting so much harder. And or is this going to be too much caffeine? Where when it's time to sleep, will I not be able to sleep?
Yeah.
And I'm lying there awake, just trying to like force myself to sleep, but it's not happening because you had too much caffeine. And so that is something that just like if you're not sure, I guess like what would Mona do is a question.
Yeah.
That no, but also like just like I mean, that's what stopped me from a couple of things. Is
Yeah.
like, okay, well, these coffee carts, you do want to support them.
Of
And
course.
so I would either share or like have half of it. Like even ask them, hey, can you make me half a cup? That way I'm not feeling bad about wasting it. Or I would just have to like forego it and just say, hey, like it's not worth the heartburn
Yeah.
or the lack of sleep later on, because I do have to wake up
Seriously.
and do everything else the next day. So I
And
do.
then Sana, on that, I think that what you do the day before, even now or even in Ramadan, is how your day is going to be the next day. So
Yeah.
you choose to get more sleep, you'll have more energy the next day. So whatever you do the day before, it's not for that day. It's really for the day that's coming next. So even your food intake and what you do, I tell people after you've eaten your dinner, you go for Tarawih, you might still be hungry. Focus on maybe having fruit, have a bowl of berries, have something that gives you energy. So when you wake up for suhoor too, you're ready to eat. A lot of times, this one is so important. So many people I know will skip suhoor and then
Mhm.
they'll be like, hey, I lost weight. You didn't lose weight. You
Yeah.
did not lose weight. You just lost weight for Ramadan. That weight is going to come right back once you add, because you can't stay in a calorie deficit of having one meal a day. You're going to slow your metabolism. So in the long run, you might think you're losing weight, but you're actually not. You're harming your body more so. So if you can please have something for suhoor, and if you're not used to eating suhoor, reach out to us and we'll give you guys great ideas. So then that way hey, okay, I can do this for suhoor, and I'm easing my gut in slowly rather than putting something too heavy if I'm not used to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, thanks for that advice. No, yeah, it's just a matter of, I think, just thinking before you act.
Yeah,
And I mean, everything's fun in the moment. Everything's fun in Ramadan. Like there's so many
yeah,
people. It's like it is like very social. It's nice to see, so
yeah.
you kind of want to partake in everything. And with our, like a lot of us, part of hanging out is food and drinks. And so, just acknowledging that, hey, we can have, um, I think you're frozen. Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah. So I'm just,
Sorry, I have workouts coming up soon, so that's why.
oh, okay, we are going to wrap it up then. But
But
just,
I'm getting the Ramadan text. It's the same text, so it's like good we have this going on. Thank
okay,
you,
yeah,
Dr. Because it really helps. Like I
yeah,
feel like it's important reminders for us too. Sometimes people think like, oh, you're a doctor, she's a trainer, nutritionist, they do this, so that. But we all need the reminders.
yeah,
But
definitely.
listening to it and actually acting on it is what's going to change your habits. So you
Yeah.
want to act upon something this Ramadan and take that.
Yeah. Even if you make one positive change that you implement, like
Yeah.
moving forward for the rest of the year, and keep building on that, like that's a win. So.
Yes, definitely.
Physically, spiritually, hopefully we can all benefit from this month. And I know a lot of people use Ramadan as a reset.
Yeah.
Just we look at our our goals in general, health goals,
Yes.
physical goals, or professional like, goals in every aspect. And so having that discipline, you can apply it to every part of your life too. And but with that, I know it's 5 o'clock and I know you have to go. So I think we're gonna end here. I'm gonna just do a quick scan here. I don't see any questions in the comments or anything. So and we are all
Perfect.
done with the questions that I got on the side. And well, I will see you around. And
Yes.
I do want to shout out, like, thank you, Mona, for having adjusted workout schedules during Ramadan. And I do appreciate that. I did notice a lot of gyms and like fitness groups, like running clubs and stuff, they have adjusted Ramadan timings. And so that's
Yes.
always nice to like be able to still stay active. And then when you're alone, it's kind of less, it's harder to be motivated. So like when you do that, it is helpful. So all right, Mona, thank you so much for joining me today.
You're welcome, love.
And if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me or Mona,
Yes.
and we're happy to help you. And
Yes, let's do this, inshallah. Happy Ramadan Mubarak, everyone.
yeah, Ramadan Mubarak. All right, take care. Assalamualaikum.
Bye. Assalamu alaikum.